Hello, good morning, good morning. See, wearing these this morning.
Good
Very stylish.
morning. Should I wear mine?
Absolutely. Oh, I've got a pair like that in red. Actually, I had a pair. Remember that woman who used to be on daytime TV called Jessie
Oh,
Raphael?
yeah.
I had a pair of those in the early 80s, and they were like the aviator style. And I had them. I remember it was weird at the time, but I had them, and people kind of looked at me and did like a triple take. And then I think I sat on them and broke the thing in the middle. But anyway, there you go. There's a bit of trivia.
Well, good.
So how are you today?
I
Are you
am
bouncing around?
great. Thank you. Happy to be alive.
Absolutely.
Got a hectic day ahead, but wanted to show up this morning to all of our beautiful viewers who may need a little inspiration, a little igniting this morning. Good morning.
Is Babette there?
Good morning.
Is
What was that?
Babette there?
Babette. Yes, she's right there.
Oh,
And
okay.
I will show her a little bit later if I don't forget.
Uh-huh.
So happy Saturday, everyone. Please connect with us, leaving in the comment where you're connecting from.
Absolutely.
We always are thrilled to see someone tuning in, and please know that in the interim, when today's topic is mastering your mindset, and yeah, we're in week 2, so today is day 8, and it's about confidence.
Right.
And we want to get your feedback on what it is that you may think regarding the comments that we share with you, and and kind of reciprocate, just go back and forth with some chat. Oh, you and I love your vest. I love vests. That's one of my favorite things to wear. So we are today going to talk about that mastering confidence. And I got to thinking, again, I always want to share a little something with you, but how often we do not stop to look at our wins, which oftentimes robs us from our confidence.
I actually have the same
think about that.
note that I wrote this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually. Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because we think alike. So,
Yeah.
But
Yes.
let's follow on from yesterday a little bit. One of the foundational things, Barbie, is to surround yourself with good people.
Absolutely.
We talked about this yesterday, and it doesn't matter how self-sustaining you are, and we're pretty self-sustaining. If you've got psychic vampires, as we call them, that are dragging you down, that are negative, that are doubters, that have no confidence, you will get sucked into that. I mean, we're not immune, but we are resilient people. So, if you're the most resilient person in the world, but you're going to jump into a pool of sharks, you're going to get bitten. So, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're wearing a Kevlar shirt or not, so to speak. You've got to create the climate. That's what I'm saying. The climate or the local environment, and then start from there. How do you think?
Yeah, you've got to protect yourself to some extent. So that's why we encourage to be very careful who you surround yourself with. It's, I find personally for myself, and you may attest to this, that we are our most successful when we are bold. Would you say? We're lifetime students. We live and learn and pivot and figure out things for ourselves. And, I think about when I was 13, it's probably my very first time I ever worked, thanks to my mother, who instilled in me the value of work. And I started working in fashion predominantly, and I had shared this story with you, in Chicago when I was 16, but I started working, doing little bits and pieces of work in fashion, specifically catalogs. And it's interesting, when it was time for me to go to college, I said, Mama, I want a break. And so essentially what I ended up doing, driving up to Chicago in the middle of winter. You remember me telling you that story?
Absolutely.
And interestingly enough, it's probably one of the most boldest moves I've ever made. I was there by myself. I had signed up with a talent agent, modeling agent, for approximately 6 months. Turned out that that visit, which was really wonderful, it was a wonderful experience, was one that showed me a lot about being self-sustaining, having grit to me. And it was one of those experiences where my spirit was really broken at times. You know, being a fashion model, if you want to do a specific type of work, guess what? You're going to be weighed. Back in the days, it's not like today. You had to be weighed if you wanted to do runway. And I remember, and I shared this with you, and it's really funny, but me eating grapes the night before I needed to get on that scale, and jump rope and jump rope and jump rope. And I loved it because, you know, it's just a fun thing for me to do. But I remember feeling like, gosh, you know, how must the ladies that are heavier feel? You know, we're in this era here where it's just, you've got to look a certain way to be cookie cutter. And so I think that that was probably the most impactful part of my life that has helped me overcome many of the obstacles that I've had. And
So
yeah, there's a level. Pardon?
what did you do to build up your confidence to do that, though? Because something kicked in. We call it, where I'm from, Northern Grit, which is basically, you know, you suck it up, you whatever. But it's something kicks in, and it's, I'm not going to be beaten. And it doesn't matter how much people try to ground you down. They're wasting their time, because you're going to bounce back. You know, it's a piece of me that is part of the very tough environment, the mining, the coal mining environment where I grew up, whereby if you wanted to do anything, you had to dig deep, because there were no resources like there were today. There was no internet to inspire you.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you do to power through that? Because that must have been
interesting.
As a 16-year-old.
And you may be able to relate to this. As young whippersnappers, so to speak, we're building that confidence. And it's something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to venture. And so I was very complacent. I was willing to do what was required of me. And you know, there are many people out there that are mature that haven't developed that confidence. And it just requires a little fall here and there every once in a while to kind of establish that confidence within you to be able to do next things. And it's just those little bits, those experiences, they may be very minute, but the reality is that's how we learn from those experiences, and that's how we become empowered. So that was my experience. What about you? What do you feel is one way to gain confidence? Hey, good
Well,
evening,
I was
Anita and Kayla.
I was going to share a little tool that both of us use. I know you use this because we've walked some of the same streets together, separately and you know, and together. But there's a little saying that I like to share as I'm doing my shave in the morning or whatever. You know, I've just got out the shower and I'm drying myself off, and you've got that person in front of you, and it's like, all right, Nigel Smart, so you think you're pretty good, don't you? And I say to myself, little saying, and you know this one. So
Yeah.
if you want to join in with me, that's good. I'm okay. You're okay. We're okay. I'm where I'm at. You're where you're at. And we're all going to get there together. And that's a little thing. And it's, you say that, it's like, ooh, yeah, I am okay. It doesn't matter. The day's in front of me. I know some things I'm going to do. The sun's shining. How bad can it be? I'm alive. I think these tools, particularly today as people are scared, because we don't know. We're all unnerved by this COVID thing. And we look around and we say to ourselves, could my day be? I mean, normally, if you're fit and healthy, unless a car hits you or something, you're gonna, you know you're gonna be around. But today, people are asking themselves, is it my number? So I think this instills a little bit of confidence to kick off the day.
Right.
And there's a tool that anybody can try and have fun with it. Pull faces in the mirror. Have a joke with yourself. Do something different each day, a variation on that. And I think you'll find it at least drives any negative thoughts that you have. You get up and you think, oh my God, I've got all these things to do. And you're already stacking, as we call it. You're already saying, I've got this to do, I got this to do, I got this to do. How and then you get over. That's really over.
And
do you like that?
Yeah, I love it. I think that's really very inspiring. And for many here who have families, like children, how do we inspire? How do we empower our children? Some parents could be helicopter parents that do not allow their children to expand and use their creativity and just experience failure. And I find that that's kind of important to do so they have their own identity. And that's how they become empowered. You let them essentially experience what they want to accomplish. You encourage them, you applaud them for their successes, and you also teach them that going through hard times can be a little bit, although there's a learning aspect to it. And that's how they build their confidence. And
Indeed. As we said earlier in the week, last week, a good friend of mine said to me 5 years ago, Nigel, you're going through a tough time, but there's a learning, there's a positive in every downside experience. And I tell people that every day, not a day goes by, and I remind myself several times a day that this is going to serve me. I'm going to learn something from this. As I said in the week, I've seen this before. It's a guy in a different color raincoat, but it's the same situation. So I know how to deal with it. Do I always deal with it perfectly? Absolutely not. I'm a human being. But I learn. You have to take action. You take responsibility. And if it doesn't kind of work out right, don't beat yourself to death. That destroys confidence more than anything else. You're asking me earlier about a few things, and self-sabotaging is the #1 killer of confidence. So what we're teaching, or what we're advocating to everybody that's online, is do things to stall any possibility of things coming in here. Keep that guard up, so you don't self-sabotage yourself. Because the moment you get things in here, the little voice, the guy on the little devil there, and the angel there, they start squabbling, don't they? And we all have those. We're not crazy people, but it's real. And you need to sort of clear that out and say, go away, guy. I'm done. I'm done with you. You're wasting your time. Go find somebody else. And from there, Barbie, you can build.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. Some of our audience are considering divorce, and some of them may be struggling in their relationships. At what point do we say, I have the courage to stand up for what I believe, what I can say, and be heard. And I should be heard because you are of value. So again, that's why we were talking earlier in the week about watching who you surround yourself with. That is so critical.
Right.
And who you surround your family around, specifically our children. They're so easily influenced. They're like little sponges. They're just wanting to absorb. They listen to every conversation imaginable.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, but it's important also to not drink the KoolAid, because I think family can be particularly protective of you, and you want them to be able to say, "Hey, Barbie, you were out of line there," or "Nigel, you got it wrong," because you can deal with that. We can deal with that. It's okay. I made a mistake. It's beautiful to be able to say, "I'm human. I'm human. Yay!" And then you move on, and it's like, Anybody that thinks they never made a mistake in their lives are living in a glass house and they're an idiot.
Yeah.
Because we make mistakes every day. And those people that are successful, either in their relationships or in business or anything else, in sports, you're learning from your mistakes. You're learning from your mistakes. And goodness knows, you know, both of us have been divorced. So obviously we made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But we're happy now and we've moved on. And we've got a lot of wisdom that we've taken from those experiences. And we want to share that. And
I wanted to add. I wanted to add.
Go on. Sorry.
When we are frustrated with someone that we can't communicate effectively, one of the things too that we can consider is just stepping away and allowing that silence to feed us. Good morning, Randy. To feed us. Exercise, we gain our composure, we clear our minds, and we are able to come back and maybe discuss it civilly as opposed to yelling at each other. There's so many different ways that we can communicate effectively with others. That's super, super important. I think that's one of the keys to mastering our communication, our surroundings with those, you know, they are empowering to us. What I'd like to say, they validate our existence in part. You know, that's what we put in our mind. So our interactions is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I am one of those that no one, you know, I am very strong-minded. I've had plenty of reading in my lifetime, plenty of experiences, and I feel that, you know, some of us, we all have different spirits. Some of us are stronger minded than others. And so when we are not, we also have to consider what can we do to sustain us and our spirits so we are not drugged through places that we don't want to go there spiritually. Yeah.
Right. Do you want to mention some of the things that we're going to try and do together in terms of, you know, in the future? We would like to share this with people. We would like to share some of this wisdom. You know, I've shared one tool this morning. There are a lot of tools that we can share with people. You've discussed things in your best-selling book on Amazon, and I have my launch coming up in 3 weeks, which I'm hoping is successful on the 18th. And that's bouncing back with purpose and vitality, a strategy for fathers or dads. And so, you know, although we've tackled this divorce thing, I think it's worth saying that, you know, we're more than just saying, you know, okay, how do you get through a divorce? We'd like people to stay together. I think, as you have said to me many times, you know, Nigel, as much as we understand this thing now on a lot of different levels, we'd like to be able to help people to find themselves so they stay together, because a strong family is the foundation of everything.
Absolutely.
Maybe people give up on things, or maybe through self-sabotage, they you know, upend what could be maybe the best relationship they've ever had in their lives. So I know we're exploring this together, aren't we?
You mean self-discovery? They're able to, by staying together, they're able to self-discover.
Self-discovery that we'd like to encourage people to embark on, because it may be the best relationship they ever have with a little work. And so there are a lot of things that we have together and separately, things that we've learned, strategies that you and I are thinking about that could be a great help to people. And you know, we're developing platforms, aren't we, to provide that. And we want the people that are dialing in here to be aware of the fact that these are not two more talking heads in a morning, but there are things
questions to our viewers, whoever's tuning in. Can we answer some of your questions or some of your thoughts? I think that would be absolutely terrific. We love interaction. If there's something in your mind regarding relationships and how we are able to overcome it, maybe one of us can answer that question. And again, we extend gratitude from our hearts to you for tuning in this morning during this crazy pandemic. Yeah, so I have found that, you know, like not recently for my book launch, I did a 30-day live, if you'll remember. I've never done a live in my life. You know, I'm doing it live now. I gained that confidence from, although I'm very social and very outgoing, but never in a million years had I imagined that I would even do a live. I felt kind of like, yeah, I don't know that I want to do it. And I challenge everybody here who's tuning in, do it. You know, you hear all these people doing challenges. That's a little way to get that confidence.
Right.
You have to sometimes have to stretch yourself just a hair to say, oh, wow, I did it. And look at the results. And that's something that I did on my own. And I'm just thinking, oh, wow, never in a million years had I. And that's how we build our confidence. We just challenge ourselves in those things that may not feel very comfortable to us, even if we're dating. For the guys here, if you're tuning in, you know, you see this babe or lady, or, you know, that you may want to, that you may want to consider dating. You know, how do you approach her? Do you feel like you're stepping on eggshells? Are you more bold? Are you willing to just go straight out there and say, you know, and just start communication, dialogue? These are the things that we need to do. You know, we all have purpose in this life. We are humans that need that connection.
To be vital, to feel vital, to feel alive, to feel vital.
Yes.
And that's really important. I will pick up on something you said right at the start, and I did say that you must have been reading my my notes that I made so we could talk about this morning. I think there must be a camera in here, another camera in here, and you're beaming in. Anyway, yeah, it's those red glasses. I knew it was something. So what I was going to say was, and when you do one of those, celebrate. Go do something. You know, I teach guys that are struggling to take that little, where's my camera? Little win and celebrate. You know, one of the things that I like to do, you know, I like cars. I love to drive my old cars. It's a bit difficult at the moment because we've got salt and brine on the roads and that rusts things to bits here. But one of the things I like to do is to go for a spirited drive around the beautiful countryside here in Chester County.
That's beautiful.
A spirited ride at about 55 miles an hour around the streets in my convertible, with my hot coat on, and my leather coat or whatever, and my driving gloves. I get back home and I think, yeah, and I'm ready for anything at that point. And the other thing, go on, you know, if you're an exercise guru like we do, go and work out, go and work your cardio. At the moment, our dojo, and I do martial arts, as you know. There's nothing more I like than combat. You know, the combat with another black belt.
To get it out.
But celebrate. That's a form of celebration, because the celebration anchors that positive feeling. And if with time, maybe tomorrow, I'll give them a tool of how they can use that anchored hot feeling to drive out automatic negative thoughts that are these things that get in their head. We're not going to do it today because we don't have time, but maybe pick that up tomorrow.
That's a great point. You've got to be able to invest in yourself. You must invest in yourself. You still can love on others. It doesn't necessarily require money. Like we said, I mean, I'm very fortunate in that I live by the coastline. So, you know, my daughter and I can go and with the dog and putz around nearby. But go for a walk, you know, go for a drive, put the best music possible, whatever, you know, drives you, whatever, something that will inspire you. You know, get those endorphins going, go work out, do whatever's necessary to help motivate you to get that confidence in you. Absolutely. So we are almost at the top of the hour, and we want music and driving is therapy for me. Oh, I know.
It is.
Absolutely. There's nothing, for me, music. I am just music inclined. You'll say a word and I think of the song and I start singing it. My mother, my entire family thinks I'm crazy because all of a sudden I'll just belch out a song. It's just just recognizing a word and just tying it into former lyrics, you know, or former music that I've heard. So and I have family members that are artists. So it just kind of runs in our DNA. But yes, music, even if you want to sing in the shower, you can even do it too. So absolutely. So does anybody have any questions for us? We would love, and you know what, even if you're watching the replay, put it in there in the chat and we'll be certain to respond back. But yes, we have huge plans coming up for me on the 20th, which I'm going to do a venture with my dear friend here and co-host, Mr. Nigel Smart, who's going to be launching his book a couple of days before. That is February 18th. And you can locate us in, obviously here, Mr. Nigel in Facebook. You can reach me in Mr. and Mrs. X. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm reading in the chat. Thank you. You know, that's what we want to do. We want to inspire each and every one of you guys. Just give you a little inspiration for your day. It's Saturday. Make the most of it. We love you. We really deeply care for everyone, and even those who don't even know about us. So if you happen to know someone, tag them in the comment, and they'll get to see this video. And I know I am the birthday girl. I don't have my names here, but if your birthday is today, big ol' hug. And sending you lots of love. I will likely tag you also here. But yeah, if you know of anybody that's struggling emotionally, even physically and spiritually, you know, tag them in here and maybe they'll get a little insight from us. You know, that's what we're here to serve. Oh, thank you, Pat. Back to you. So with that said, we will be back tomorrow, Sunday, at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock Eastern time. And as always, make it a bright day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Sending love to each and every one of you guys. You take care and you stay cozy out there, Mr. Nigel.
You don't get too warm.
You know, it's been raining. It's been really ugly out here, but today we're finally got the sun coming out. So sending a lot of warmth to each and every one of you guys.
I will send you pictures of the snow when it arrives on Sunday night.
Ooh, I'd love to see that. I love Wonderland type
stuff. Getting my snow blower ready today, I can tell you. But here we go.
Cozy, I like that best.
Have a great day, Bobby.
You too, and so everybody. Take care. Bye. Bye.